This TT has a failed alternator, but how did I diagnose that? How do I remove it? And why is it up on axle stands when the alternator is right here? Well, nothing is simple on the 3.2. I'm going to show you in this video how you diagnose an alternator fault, how you remove the alternator and refurbish it and replace it with a new part. So let's get started. Now, for those of you that know, this car broke down when we went to the Ace Cafe show back in December. The RAC came out and they pointed out that it had an alternator failure. So I'm going to show you first up how we diagnose that. And a quick thank you before we get started with this alternator repair and removal video. And that is a massive thanks to these wonderful members of the Andy Charger channel. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to bring you this amazing content. So thank you very much. And if you too want to support the channel, then please do click the join link below. So first up, start the engine. And now press and hold the recirculate button and the up arrow, which brings up this menu. Now cycle through the numbers until you get to 20C. And by pressing the recirculate button, you will see the voltage of your alternator. Now this is below 14 volts. I would expect a working alternator to be between 13.5 and 14 volts. This at 11 is showing the battery is not being charged by the alternator, indicating that we have a faulty alternator. Now here we go, this is the interesting one and this is the comparison. So looking on the 225 Roadster, you can see a working alternator is fluctuating around the 14 mark. So this alternator is good and it is charging the car, whereas on the 3.2 we know we're running around 11 and that alternator is definitely not charging the car. Of course, the other way to test the alternator is with a battery tester, and this is a really simple test. You can pick up these battery testers fairly cheap here in the UK, and all you need to do is, with the car running, you clip this to the positive terminal of the battery, this to the negative terminal of the battery, and then check what the voltage output is. A working alternator will be producing around 14 to 14.5 volts of electricity at the battery when you take a measurement. If it is below that, if it is particularly below 12 volts, that means the alternator is not charging the battery in any way, shape or form, and your battery is actually discharging. It's not being regenerated. So this is a great way to confirm what the secret menu on the car has already told you. Once we've done that, we need to take the bumper off, hence why this car is up on axle stands, because we need to take the wheel off to get the bumper off for us to get access to the alternator. Now, if you own a 1.8T Audi TT Mk1, you can access the alternator from above right here without taking the bumper off. If you are working on a 3.2 V6, it's a little bit more involved. It's quite a difficult job, but I'm going to go through it step by step and show you at home how we do it. But first off, we're going to take the bumper off. Not going to cover that on this video. We're going to cut to the bumper being off. But if you do want to know how to take a bumper off an Audi TT Mk1, I've got a full detailed video for beginners, which I'll leave linked above so you can remove your own front bumper. So here we are back with the car, and we now have the bumper off, as you can see. But the next thing for us to do to access the alternator, which is right here, is to remove the driver's side headlight. Now it's held in place with 3 bolts, but it's important to remove this because we need that for access for manoeuvring and getting behind the bulkhead to get to the alternator. And with the headlight out of the way, I can see the alternator is right here, just on the side of the engine block. Again, we've got more access from the side now, but it does need to make sure we take this bulkhead from the car. So I think we're going to need to remove both headlights to undo this, to lean this forward to get the access. But we're not done just yet, because to remove the slam panel, you need to remove this bolt right here, which is a spline bolt, and the same on the other side, which is right here. There's a massive spline bolt that needs to come out just there. We also need to remove the 10mm hex retaining bolt on the one side of the slam panel, and again on the other side. And I've left this one in place just to show you and identify. There is a 10mm hex bolt attaching the slam panel right there. We need to remove the crash bar as well, and the crash bar, if we look just in there, is held in place with some bolts. And if you see my video on removing or disassembling the front end of a TT, you can see them a bit more clearly down there. We know we need to remove that crash panel bar as well, and we'll bring the slam panel forward once we've done that. Looking through the driver's side headlight void and past the slam panel, we've moved forward. We can see this nut down here, which looks to be maybe a 10mm nut or an 8mm nut that's securing the charcoal canister in place. And we need to remove that, to remove the charcoal canister out of the way, to access the 3 bolts to remove this tensioner. But of course that nut looks rather rusty, so we're going to give that a good coat of WD-40 penetrating fluid. Let that soak in before we try and remove it. I'll just unclip this hose from this clip so I can get a socket and a long bar onto that nut. And removing this pipe has made the difference. I've just lifted that up and tucked it behind the edge of the inner wing just there. So we can now see the 3 Allen bolts right there that we now need to remove from the tensioner. But worth pointing out, we need to slacken the belt off on this tension. And the way we do that is we insert an M10 bolt through this hole here at the top, and that will allow us to push down on that and release the tension, separate the tensioner, and that will allow us to take the belt off, and then we can remove it. But the best thing to do is to slacken this tension off first by adding this bolt. And you probably saw that has now split that tensioner, and now the belt, you can see, is floppy right there. So that means there's no load going through the pulleys or the tensioner. So now we've got to remove these 3 bolts at the back. Looking at it from above, so they undo fairly easy. I can spin that out by my fingers once I've cracked the initial tension. And there's 3 of these. There is one. You can see how easy that tension cracks in it. Now the 3rd one at the back, because of the engine mount, there's not a lot of clearance, so I can't actually get my tool on, so I might need to find an alternative to crack that last one off. And you can see what I've done. I've got this extra long reach Allen key on that bolt because I haven't got room with the tool, and even though it's longer and more cumbersome, I think that will allow me to just, there we go, break the tension. But I have cracked it, so what I'm hoping now, maybe we can do it from down here now. There we go, there we go. And you've probably seen, as soon as I've done that and loosened that off, you can see now we've got the tension just falling away. All 3 of these bolts are the same size and same length, so they should all go back in the same place, but it is worth noting which one you've taken out from which hole, just to make sure they go back in the same way. So there is our tensioner off. Now you can see the tensioner has got this pulley as well. Now the belt will slip off the back of it like that, so you've got to remember, you put it back on, the belt goes over the top of the pulley but from behind, and this is the outside of the car on this side where the bolts go through. So just worth keeping note of that. And you can see quite clearly there's our bolt we've used to back the tensioner off. We've now got a much clearer view of the alternator. There's 2 bolts that hold it in place. And you can see now on the alternator there's a bolt at the back here and one at the front. But we'll try and crack those off and see if we can get the alternator to drop down. Now looking down at the alternator from the top of the engine, you can see I've got a bar, an extension bar in place with a 14mm socket and my ratchet, and I could easily back these 2 bolts off now, and then we've got nothing holding the alternator in place. So let's see how that goes. Oh yeah, that moves very easily indeed. There's one of our bolts holding the alternator in place. Be careful not to drop this into the engine bay, because you don't want to go chasing nuts and bolts around, because we've still got the under tray on. So there it is. It's quite a fairly long bolt, as you can see. Well, now that's the back one, so I'm going to put that at the back of our little tray there. And then the front one right here, with the front bolt completely undone, we're going to slip this out like that, and we're going to have that at the front here. So we've got that, so we know where that is also. Now the alternator should now be completely detached. Let's see if we can tease that forward. Now there's not a lot of room there to work with. I think it is held in place with like a pinch joint. There you go. This part is part of the car. This part right here is solid and part of the car. The alternator is being joined or sucked on or squeezed on to this part either side. So we either need to lever these apart slightly so it drops forward, or we need to get something behind like a breaker bar and just ease it forward slightly. So I'm going to try that first in there, and just, you can see that's just, there you go, alternator's moving down a bit. There we go, that's coming away from that bit where it's been pinched on. You can see that the alternator is now dropping down from that bracket. So I'm hoping once we've got it manoeuvred down, this should just drop down, unless there's something underneath it that's holding it up now. Now if I get hold of it by hand, by the pulley, you can see how easy that is now moving. But I think the problem is the back of this alternator is also on a pinch bolt at the back, and it's having a problem. So I'm just going to have to wiggle it forward as best I can. Maybe try and manoeuvre it from the back here and get it away so it comes forward into my hand here. Try and oh, there you go. It just by getting it from both sides, it's come free. And there is the alternator now away from the car. There's some wiring on this side also, but even once I've got it out, it's going to be quite tricky to get this away from the car, because there's not an awful lot of room to move. I was hoping to bring it out through here, but I don't think that's going to be possible. So I might have to try and work a way to drop the slam panel even further forward, so we can get it out from this gap above past the AC pipe. You can see on the back of the alternator, on the regulator side, you've got this plug here with a pink inside there, 2-pin plug that comes off from the alternator here. We'll take a closer look once we've got it off. And there is a further wire that attaches to the alternator right here and clips into the car just below. That needs to be disconnected, and we can see right here this little 10mm nut. That is the earth strap that's coming off the car, I think. So we need to undo that, and then I think once we've got that off, the alternator will be free from the car. Now the big challenge of getting this under there is, well, it just doesn't really fit. So the way I do it, and the way I got this out, is simply to get it out through this gap between the fans and this AC pipe that's right here. Now, one thing I was not able to show clearly when filming on the car was the actual removal in front of the slam panel of the alternator. So I'm going to show you it here so I can demonstrate it more clearly. This side is the passenger side, and this side is of course the driver's side. I am the front of the car, and with the 2 sets of bolt holes, once I've got it off the car, what I do is I manoeuvre this part against the fans of the slam panel and this part against the AC condenser pipe, and I use the pipe to move it around as I come out. I'm able to move in that moon shape to go around the pipe. That allows you to get the manoeuvrability to get it out of the car and lift it clear. So here's our alternator off the car, and the part that we're going to be replacing on this that we think has failed is the regulator, which is this part right here. And if you want to see where that is on the alternator, you can just about make out it's here, because you've got this same plug that sits here, and there's also a bolt that does it up, a Phillips screw down here and a Phillips screw there. There's also a Phillips screw here, so we need to take those Phillips screws off to expose the regulator and swap the part out. So let's do that next. So not only do we need to remove the Phillips screws, but we also need to remove these two nuts as well that are on the alternator that seem to hold the top cover in place. And with all these nuts and screws out of the way, we can lift the outer cover off the alternator, and then we can see that here is the part in question. And again, this has a bolt at the back and a bolt at the front that hold it in place. If we pick up the new regulator, we can see there's 3 bolts holding this in place, and there's 1, 2, 3 we need to remove here. So we'll remove those also. So now we've got these bolts removed, it just slides out like that. Now I am told that 9 times out of 10 when an alternator fails, it is this regulator. So there is our old one out of the way. It is a Bosch one, and we will compare that to the new one. Looks pretty much the same. I'm looking for the part number. So it looks like it has these 2 little sprung feet, which we're going to put in there. That goes in like that. There you go. All lines up exactly the same as the previous one. So I'm going to get this all reassembled now. What we can see right here on the alternator up close are these 2 collars that seem to grip really tight on the alternator when you put it back into position. Now we want to make sure that we can try and retract them or force this gap apart a little bit more before we put it back on to make sure it's easy to put it in position. I'm also going to give this a clean up because this was quite difficult to get off on the car because of its access. So this is like an earthing point in the car, so I want to make sure that connection is nice and clean. So I'm going to clean that contact up as well, and yeah, we'll get it back on the car. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the alternator round the back like that and just sit it on top of the fans that we've got right there. And I'm just going to gently drop that down a little bit at a time, as you can see, and it will just, a bit of flex, we've got it underneath now, and that's us with the alternator down where it needs to be. After fighting with getting the alternator into position, one of my great members, Phil P, has suggested I use some lithium grease. I've just given the 2 washers a little bit of a rub down with some sandpaper. So there we go, giving it a rub down, giving it a squirt of lithium grease, and hopefully that should give us enough separation to get this into position. So let's try and load that now. With the alternator done up and the tensioner back in position, we can now release the bolt that was holding the tensioner slack in position. We made sure that we've got the belt all in the right position before we do so, and now by removing this bolt you can see that's moving and the tension is now taken up, so we can remove that. Now that's just an M10 bolt that I've put in there, which you can just find at home somewhere to use and just put it to one side. Always useful to have one lying around for a job for your tensioner if you plan on doing these type of jobs yourself. So that's my video on how to remove an alternator, how to refit an alternator, and of course how to test it and diagnose a problem with your alternator. And I hope you found the video useful, and if you have, then please do think about giving this video a thumbs up, and also think about subscribing to my channel where you'll find more content on the Audi TT Mk1. Don't forget, we also have a live show every Monday at 7:30 here on the channel, and I want you to be there and take part. As always, thanks for watching and see you soon. Take care and good luck with your alternator removal.